We are back on Taking Care of Business on Koerner Radio, News Talk 1180, 1230 KGEO, and 1410 KERI. And in New Mexico on 1000 KK. What's our call? I am
KKIM.
Hey, we're gonna have some fun in New Mexico. We're gonna start doing some things that are more New Mexico appropriate as well.
I can't wait for our visit.
Yeah, that'll be great. Yeah, maybe we can work out something and be out there. We have an in-studio guest, a nice little book here called Lemon Tree, Lenora McClellan, and this is going to be a fun little interview. Lenora, welcome to Taking Care of Business.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you got to get very close to that microphone there.
Let's start over again. Lenora, welcome to Taking Care of Business.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me.
It is our pleasure. So, in fact, you met Lenora at a book signing, right?
At Russo's.
At Russo's, okay, Russo's Books. Well, Russo's just got a free plug from us.
That's the idea. We help everybody in town.
That's right, in town and even in New Mexico.
And Russo's a local writer. I mean, not Russo. Lenora is a local writer.
Hence, she was at the bookstore at a book signing.
Oh, that's right.
God, nothing gets by Clay, Lenora. He's sharp.
Yes, he is.
It's okay to laugh, by the way, on this show. Especially if you're laughing at Clay.
Yeah, right.
So what was your inspiration for this book?
It was completely inspired by God.
Okay.
I dreamed it one night, and, I had doubts about writing it, but then God stayed on me, and by morning I had to write it.
Good.
In writing it, I didn't know he wanted me to publish it also, but he had the inspiration for it to inspire other people through it. So it was definitely given to me by God.
I wrote a book years ago on Christian American heritage, and I can remember when I was in that mode of writing that book, I would wake up in the middle of the night and have a chapter written, and I just start writing it down, and I know it wasn't me. So I know what you mean by being inspired by something other than yourself.
I definitely feel the same way, because God has given me the gift to write poetry. So this book was something totally different. And even my readers also said, that's something different from what you normally write. Yeah. So I had to be obedient and do what God led me to do.
Sure. Now, this book is only 11 pages.
Yes.
Okay. Why so short?
That's how that is what the length God said it would be. He told me who the characters would be and how it would inspire others.
And what's it about specifically?
It's about a family that's going through turmoil, and they're separated, and they get together and they walk and try to figure out how to get their family back together. Okay,
and then through a tragic event that doesn't necessarily end up through a tragic event they end up pulling together, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's
through
the theory
a tragic event they find each other again
and find God.
One of the things we talked about earlier is that you had mentioned that others had been inspired. How have others been inspired by it?
Well, if I may, I have a few reviews that came in, and they're kind of short. I picked the shortest one so I wouldn't be talking forever.
Okay.
Well, you can only talk for 9 minutes.
By the way, I want you guys to know you both wrote books. I sent a postcard out once.
Well, Mary Nunn says, the story of the lemon tree reminds us that God does not promise any of us tomorrow.
Get close
Therefore,
to that
we should appreciate and value family and loved ones daily. And that was sent through an email from Mary Nunn. And then the book was also featured in Koerner Family magazine. The writer is Cheryl Porter. And she says, family dynamics and near tragedy come together in the Lemon Tree, a faith-based book for all ages by local author Lenora McClellan. In it, several family members go for a walk in search of lemons and a renewed sense of closeness. But it's only when the youngest member goes subtly missing that the real meaning of family comes to the surface as God's hand brings out the dramatic conclusion. And that's 2 of the reviews.
So how do you feel now you can inspire others through this book?
I feel blessed that God would use me, that he would use me as the vessel to inspire others.
How do you get this book out into the public, though? How do you get the publicity and the promotion to make it happen?
I did a lot of footwork, and I also shared it with family members. I did a book signing at Be More, just through word of mouth and sharing my testimony with others and showing them how God has brought me through some difficult times in my life.
Now, I know that you had mentioned that you also are a special ed teacher. Have you been able to incorporate what you learned here into the special ed programs that you work with?
Well, that's the joy in my life. God gave me that job also. I'm working with special ed kids. I'm not a teacher, but I aid the teacher in helping special ed kids.
I see.
Our in-studio guest is Lenora McClellan, author of Lemon Tree.
So, Lenora, what's your next project?
My next project, because I've been obedient in the lemon tree, God has blessed me with writing God by God's grace. It's a poetry book of my life in poetic form that will give the readers more insight into me, Lenora McClellan, as the person who God is changing.
Well, tell us a little bit about Lenora.
Lenora grew up in Bakersfield, California.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
You're a local person.
Yes, I'm
Okay.
47 years young.
I
have the privilege of working with special ed kids at Centennial High School. I attend Pleasant View Missionary Baptist Church.
Which church?
Pleasant View Missionary Baptist Church, where my pastor is Tim Gray Sr. And I love the Lord, and I am so inspired and blessed that God is allowing me to do His work.
I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, I do too.
I think it's awesome.
Are you going to be publishing your poetry in the near future?
Yes. I really believe that being obedient in the lemon tree, then God said, now you can use the gift I gave you to inspire more. The lemon tree is totally God's inspiration.
Every time I hear the term lemon tree, I think of the situation, the movie we saw called Waiting for Superman, where they talk about teachers who are lemons and how they try to get rid of them. Did you happen to see that movie?
No, I didn't get a chance to.
Great movie.
That's a movie you really need to see. It's called
Waiting for Superman.
Waiting for Superman. It's about teachers who have no value to students, but they can't get rid of them because they're vested.
Oh.
And so they send them to a room or a building, and they sit there all day and do nothing but read papers, play games, or sleep. And then they send them home, and they get their salary, they get their bonuses, if any, they get their benefits. It's really a sad situation.
Well, our class is totally different from that. We teach them life skills. We take them out to learn different skills. So when they leave us, and they enjoy being with us as much as we enjoy being with them.
Oh, I'm talking about teachers, not students.
Oh.
Yeah.
These are teachers who are lemons. And as soon as I saw your book that day when I ran into you at Russo's, I thought maybe it was an offshoot of the movie we saw.
Yeah, no, totally
But
different.
no, yours is a totally blessed
Yes.
book,
Yeah, and
given from God.
Yes.
And you know, for you to work with special education kids, I mean, that's a blessing. To be
Yes,
able to
it
do that.
is.
Because you can see the reward right away from from what you're doing. And I have a child who was a special needs child, and it's a challenge. It's a challenge for a parent. It's a challenge for a teacher. So
Well, they love you unconditionally.
yeah. Thank you for
And
that ministry. Thank you.
You're welcome, and thank
Yeah.
you for having me.
Now, question for you: how can people find out more about your book, and how can people get your book?
They can go to Amazon, and you can get it on Kindle. You also can Google it and almost read the whole story. I also have it as the author. I still have copies of it, and
How can people get copies of it if they want? I mean, it's an attractive little book. It'd make a great Christmas present.
well, they can go onto my Facebook page
Okay,
and just put the lemon tree, and it'll pop up.
Okay, so your Facebook page is
Lenora McClellan, and then you'll see the lemon tree.
Okay,
the lemon
Lenora?
tree is the cover story.
spelled Lenora, and McClellan spelled capital MC, capital CLELLAN
Yes.
on Facebook.
Yes.
Do you have a website at all, or
No.
okay?
Now,
But-
who is Jen Tina?
Jen Tina is the artist that designed the cover. I gave her the idea, and she designed the cover.
Very nice cover.
Yeah,
Very
it's-
pretty book.
This would make a very, very attractive Christmas present. I highly recommend it. How much is it?
It's only $100, I think.
$100.
It's only $10.
$10. Okay, yeah.
But the most amazing part of this book is that it gives God glory for all
Yes.
the things that He can bring us through.
Yes, exactly.
And the only way that families can be brought back together is by God's hand. Not
Definitely.
nothing on our own, but by what God does.
Definitely. Thank you so much for your ministry.
You're welcome, and thank
Yeah.
you.
It might be a nice book for a Bible study, but it would be like one lesson.
Well, you can use that as the study guide for students.
Yeah.
Well, you know what the funny thing is, you could probably have a very nice couple of sessions Bible study out of this book, because there's all kinds of really hidden messages here about the family and the family becoming one again.
Yes.
You know, as Christians, as believers, and and tragedy. We all have tragedy in our life, and we're all going to have the tragedy. It's how we respond to that tragedy that defines us as human beings.
Yes.
So
And not to rely on humans at all, but to rely on God.
exactly, because as Christians, we know what the alternative. We know what the ending is going to be
Yes.
already. Lenora, thank you so much for the time,
Thank you very much for having me.
and we will definitely let us know when you get your book of poetry out.
Yes, I will.
Okay, we'll be back in a moment on Taking Care of Business on Koerner Radio News Talk 1180.